and then you have levels, higher levels that you can ascend to. So it's deep though. But just knowing, you feel me, that once you die, Rod, we all die. You feel me, Joe? Once you go to sleep, we all fall asleep. The only reason I can be seen right now is because you watching. Only reason I can be heard is because you listening. So without your observation, I cease to exist in your reality. You are the creator. And that concept applies to every single soul on this reality that's experiencing life. But we have to understand that and fully know that, you know, to be able to control the reality that we create. It's deep, man. Big mama energy manifests in many forms.
Yeah. So you got the opportunity when you're young to determine your future life path. The purpose of the elders is to teach the youth how to find their best life, right? But they told us that we had to use physical discipline called spanking to teach the children. That's not true. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Discipline is necessary, but that's not necessarily discipline.
Okay.
You know?
Definitely.
The discipline come in is how early can you get the child's attention to focus on you. Because once you can get your child to focus on you, then your child can start to understand you faster, and you can understand your child.
Fact.
And the earlier you do it, the more influential. Because you don't want to like make the kid like handicapped. You want them to be able to think for themselves. They want us to be able to follow orders and instructions. We want our children to be independent thinkers. So we got to be able to get their attention early enough in order for them to focus when we give the guidance.
Facts on for now. Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. That's important for our community to know that shit too.
It be deep, man. So it's like, you know, knowledge of self. I feel like, you know, religion takes away our powers, you know. And that's another thing. Like, okay, like with the whole black woman is God thing, you know. Again, God is divine knowledge of self. It really don't have to do with gender, hair follicle, or skin texture, skin pigment. It's a certain level of awareness. I like to correlate, you know, Adam and Eve. You feel me? Adam and Eve, before they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, they wasn't gods. But they ate from that tree. That tree gave them divine knowledge of self. As soon as they ate the apple or the fruit, their eyes became open and they realized they were naked instantly. This is knowledge of self. Then Yahweh asked them, who told you can eat from the tree? Then he said, behold, man and woman have become one of us. Us is the Elohim, which is gods in plural in Hebrew. You feel me? Many gods in Hebrew. So God said, Adam and Eve, man and woman have become one of us. The gods knowing good and evil. So that fruit gave them divine knowledge of self. And even God said they become like us. Gods knowing good from evil. And a lot of people don't understand. Not to say that I subscribe to that, but I'm just using that passage to explain a concept. You feel me? Because it's a direct correlation. They wasn't gods at first, but that fruit gave them divine knowledge of self. And they realized they were naked. This is the first thing. They didn't even know they were naked. That's how we know they didn't have knowledge of self. As soon as they gained knowledge of self, they became gods. So God is divine knowledge of self. That's the best way I can put it. And a white person can embody this. A white person can have divine knowledge of self. It's people in the Far East that's ascended to high states of consciousness, way beyond we can fathom. And they got melanin in their skin, but they don't have coily hair. So they're not 9 ether. They have long, straight black hair. They're 6 ether. So we know they're not black people, we know they're not black people because they ether strands is 6 ether is straight. So, but they've ascended way past levels of spiritual consciousness than we can ever imagine. So this tells me, like, I've ran into Caucasian people, white people, that's highly spiritual and have, you feel me, dove to the pinnacles of, you know, consciousness. You feel me? I've ran into all type of people. So I don't really put the, I used to teach the same thing. The black man is God. The black woman is God. But like, as I matured on my spiritual journey in the wisdom, man, life showing me like it ain't even got nothing to do with skin color. Anybody can become God as long as they get divine knowledge of self. They deserve to become God.
So when we say the black woman is God, again, we referring, when you look in the sky at night and the dark shit that you see between the stars, that's the black woman. That's the infinite womb of creation. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about Big Mama. The primordial noon where all things emerge, right? Now, Big Mama is represented in the pantheon by the zoo type of a hippopotamus-headed female with breasts of a woman, right? And I think she got like lion's feet or some shit.
This comedic science.
Yeah, and then
that's not
Egypt.
You mean not net? That's
Tawaret. Tawaret.
Okay.
Now, if you watch that new series that came out recently called Moon something, it's on like Netflix, and they got a depiction of her driving the boat across the desert sands.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but that's the imagery we use to give us the description of Big Mama. In Europe, the oldest depiction of Big Mama was called the Venus of Warlendorf.
Fact. Okay.
Right. So when you look, you see she's a hippie woman, heavy in the hips, with breasts, and she got nappy ass hair, or what we would call short dreads. Right. So when we look at that, these are symbols for the nine ether, Shakti, or noon, or dark matter energy that emerged in a sentient being form. Right. And the first creation of the human was feminine or female. And they used to reproduce parthenogenically.
Parthenogenic? Oh, okay, yep. When a female can have an offspring without getting her egg fertilized. Definitely.
Right. So the women asked Prime Creator if it was all right for them to create men from themselves so they could have counterparts. So this is when they say they divided up the sexes. Right? Because the energy that's coming into the planet is morphing the planet from an all-feminine planet to a dual-gender planet, and this is all part of what's called the divine plan. The dual-gender planet is for the man and the woman to work together, and somebody hijacked the species. They hijacked University Earth in order to override the rules to the game. So what they did, instead of overriding the rules, they played with the rules upside down and backwards. And that's what kept us all fucked up.
Yeah, that shit deep, man. Man, I see you finna go to sleep, man. Hey, I do, man. Gee, I ain't finna do shit, man.
Oh yeah, I'm about to get ready to cut out my Hey, but really, I ain't as sleepy as you think I am. I was smoking the heavy ass blunt when I started.
Okay.
I'm really all up in the ethers and shit.
Astro travel. So speaking of that, so facts. So I teach like as far as like astro travel. Would this resonate with you? So besides, you know, it's deep because like I'm gonna just get straight to it. So astro travel, astro projection. Let's just say that astro projection is when you have an intentional out of body experience. So, but if I went to sleep while astral projecting, then this would be a regular dream. If I went to sleep and I astral projected in my sleep, this would be considered as a regular dream. But if I was to go into a dream state while awake, well, this is considered astral projection. So what's the difference between astral projecting and dreaming? The difference is sleep and awake. Because again, if I was asleep, bro, if I was asleep and I astral projected, this would be considered just a regular dream. But if I was in a dream state while awake, this is considered astral projecting. So the difference between astral projecting and dream is awake and sleep. If I'm awake and I can go into a dream state while awake, this is astral projection. What's the times that we go into the dream state while awake? When we daydreaming. Daydream is astral projection. This is basically what I'm getting to. Daydream is astral projection. You feel me? Probably never even heard of it that way, but it's very true and it's very valid, you know. And it, according to astral projection, what astral projection is when you have an out of body experience, which requires an astral body to travel the astral planes. So we need an astral body in order to astral project. This is a fact. Now, when we daydreaming, you can be driving a car for 2 hours, hand behind the wheel, stopping at stop signs, red light, but your mind is somewhere else. You're inside of another body, and your physical body is behind the wheel, but you're controlling another body the whole ride. I'm mostly daydream when I'm driving, and I'll be looking up, like when I get to the destination, I look back like, yo, I wasn't even driving. I was doing something else. It's like this whole ride. So that's a form of astral projection. And a lot of people like, yo, because they come, I get a lot of reflections that come to me like, yo, how can I astral project? And I say, do you daydream? When you daydreaming, that's a form of astral projection. Like, you know, would that resonate though?
So, from my understanding, the major difference between a dream and astral projection is dealing with the intentions and the awareness.
Okay.
If you're dreaming, you're not aware you're dreaming until you awake.
Exactly.
If you astral traveling, you're aware you're in the dream world the whole time. That gives you control in the dream world.
Yep.
And if you fix it in the fourth dimension, it has to get fixed in the third. It's the trickle-down effect.
Definitely.
It's a trickle-down effect.
So
the dream state is a side effect of the third dimension and the fourth dimension collapsing into each other. So you're in two dimensions at the same time. Your system has to adjust, adapt in order for it to survive.
Well, definitely. I mean, that would be a tesseract, right? Because like a tesseract, when we're speaking in dimensional terms, a tesseract is the extra layer that's added onto the dimension. So the reason we move from 2D to 3D is because the extra layer, which is the extra dimension, which is the tesseract, which made us, you feel me, brought us into 3D. So in order to go from 3D, you say the third and the 3D and the 2D is merged together. That's what you just said, right?
4.
Okay,
3 and 4.
3 and 4 is merged together. That would
That's
be like
why
the
we was in
tesseract.
an infinity loop.
Ooh, hold on. According to the science, though, because I fuck with dimensions and realms and everything, like down to a T, but according to the science, and that just, hey, you just sparked my mind. So the third mixed in, merging in with the fourth dimension, this can bringing us into the fifth dimension, because the tesseract for the third dimension was the fourth dimension. And this is how we raise in dimensions by the tesseracts and extra layers. They merging together can bring us into the fifth. If you get it.
We figured out a long time ago, like so when you're reading about the masters of the Far East, the masters of India, the masters of Asia, right? They all knocking on this reality, trying to find out how to fix this problem that we got that got us stuck in an infinity loop, which is the side effect of time. We only got time because we in the infinity loop. When we step out of the infinity loop, the life is different in the 3D because we become more controllable of the creation itself, we be in more control of it. Right? 30 seconds is about to cut out. And so the whole system collapsed fourth and the third like a slinky, and you pinching two of the pieces together, and we on the inside making the figure eight around the two. Going up the fourth, down the top of the third,